Hey everyone, it's Zeraldo here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the latest class I've designed, the Legion Paladin class. This is my 5th class, and it's been made for Dage's birthday, so I'll just show you how to get it now. There are 3 ways to earn the class. You can talk to Dage the Evil, and go to his birthday shop, and buy it for 2,000 adventure coins, same as most new classes these days. Or, you can go to the Undead Legion merge, and merge it for 2,000 Legion tokens, and 13 of Sepulchure's Legion badge. Now I'll explain how to get that in a second. Or, if you're one of the few people who have Sepulchure's Doomknight armor, you can do a quest. This will let you get badges even faster, and allow you to go here for the armor merge, which as you can see is locked to you unless you have actually earned the armor. So I haven't earned it, so I can't show you how much it is, but that's a third option if you want to earn it. As for getting there, you'll need to join Sepulchure and farm the boss until you get your drops. So you just type /join Sepulchure and you fight Dark Sepulchure until he drops. And that's how you get your class. Once you have your Legion Doomknight class, you're going to want to enhance it. As a base enhancement setup, I'd recommend Full Luck, but if you're wanting to be adventurous, consider mixes of Fighter and Wizard, or Fighter and Wizard and Luck, or just Fighter and Luck, or Wizard and Luck. It just depends on the moves. Your first and last move are both physically based, whereas your middle 2 moves are magically based. If you take a look at the passives, you'll find that they lend themselves to basically anything as well. You do 20% more damage with Dage's Favor, and with Strength of the Legion you do 10%. You have a greater chance to critical hit by 10%, and to just hit it all by 5%. Just ignore this on the stat paddle, it just appears to be a bit of a glitch at the moment. It doesn't seem to be affecting your gameplay at all. You regen mana in the same way as mages. Mana is not really an issue with this class. For your ore enhancements, you could go health vamp if you want to be super tanky. I personally am confident enough in this little heal here that I wouldn't do that. I'm going to go with Spiral Carve. So now I'll show you the class in action. So as always, I'm using a stable damage weapon. I'm always going to be doing the same amount of damage each time, and that's just to show you the exact average of the class. Now normally I leave it at that and tell you you can use an unstable weapon and you can do hits that are much higher and crit much higher, but that you'll also do a lot lower hits every now and then. Now this is actually one of the few times I'm going to recommend a damage range and say for Legion Doomknight you should strongly consider a stable weapon damage range. This is because the Legion Doomknight is not designed to do huge hits or big crits. This thing is designed to keep doing damage and damage and damage and eat away at your opponent. So this is a boss in class in case you weren't aware. A stable damage range is going to mean you can always rely on its attacks to do a certain amount of damage while fighting bosses or whatever opponent you want. Now, if you actually want a weapon you can use with a stable damage range, if you remember, Unarmed will do it, and you can check on the wiki and it might tell you other weapons of the same damage range. Now, with that said, I'm going to go right into this. I'm going to start at the second move and work my way across, because the first move is the core of the class and it changes these a bit. So you'll want to see these without use of the first move and then all of it together. So your first move is just your standard sort of heal. It's very similar to Necromancer. It's called Soul Siphon. Costs 25 mana, has a 6-second cooldown, and does 100% magic damage. So, as you can see, I healed about 700 there. Ignore the powerful enemy. That's a pretty reliable, dependable heal with a reasonable cooldown. So that's Soul Siphon. You've got Legion Dark Blast, which is just for damage there. It was the largest hit, the 2,300 crit, or more or less a 700, or exactly. As well as only costing 15 mana and having a 6-second cooldown, this move applies a couple of effects, both lasting 4 seconds, which is Torment. Torment is only useful in PvP, but it reduces how much crit damage your opponents do to you, so you can minimize incoming damage. But more importantly, it applies Shadow Step, which decreases your opponent's chance to hit you by 15% and decreases their haste by 15%. So they'll hit less often and they'll hit slower. So this is a breather in boss battles. This can make or break when your boss is starting to do heavy damage and you want to heal. So yeah, use that. Finally, you've got your nuke here, Imminent Doom, which is 30 mana, 16-second cooldown. Don't know if I mentioned this is 200% magical damage. Now this is weird percentages here, but 260% physical, and it's got a dot which lasts for 8 seconds and hits your opponent 4 times. Now, it can miss, which is a problem, but you've got increased hit chance, so that won't happen all that often. It also applies Decay, which stops opponents in PvP from healing, so we'll just use it now. As you can see, it's a sort of powerful attack, and it's got a 276 dot. Now, that might not seem like much, but 4 of those over 8 seconds is 1,000 extra damage that you wouldn't have done. And when you actually compare it to the strike, it does more than the strike. Now, that might not seem like a huge amount, but over time it really gets going. And not only that, it adds constant damage to what you're doing. Now we get to the fun move of the class. And this makes or breaks it. This is the move that you're going to be using all the time. It's called Touch of Doom. It's only 15 mana. It has a 4-second cooldown, so it's the shortest move, and this is the go-to move. Every time you use it, it stacks an effect, and this stacks 5 times. Touch of Doom increases the amount of damage your opponent takes by 5%, and so you'll be doing 5% more damage, or 25% total. Touch of Death decreases the amount of damage they do to you by 7% per stack, or 35% total. So you're doing 25% more damage in total, and they are doing 35% less damage to you. So that sort of adds up, and that makes your move here, Soul Siphon, better, because you're not taking as much damage, so you don't need to heal as much, but when you do heal, it's more impactful since you haven't lost as much health. You can sustain higher amounts of health for longer using this. Not only that, it also has the Touch of Demise effect. Now that actually increases your own damage as well by 25% total, or 5% per stack. So for those of you who can do maths, you're more or less, I say more or less because it's a little more complex than that, but more or less increasing your damage output by 50%. So just imagine any of these other moves I've already showed you with that damage increase. As you can see here, the dot has now jumped to 500 instead of 280. So that's now 2,000 damage. All your moves become more powerful, so everything here just does more damage. Your healing's more sustainable. Damage on strike and all that is better. Now here's the catch. When you stack these things, they apply to your opponent, so changing opponent is going to make you lose those stacks. So as you can see, this is really designed for bossing. For those of you that are concerned this is a bit too powerful, if you're fighting alone, you'll get the full stack and the full power. If you're fighting with friends, chances are you'll be killing this thing before you get all 5 stacks. So you're not going to get too much of a power benefit out of that. But because some of it is applied to you, you do get a small continuation of your power, so you can maintain 25% bonus power between battles. But as you can see, this move really helps against bosses, and bosses primarily. For those of you who have realized, because it applies it to your opponent, everyone who attacks your enemy will be doing bonus damage. So once you've got your move stacked to 5, if you're fighting a boss, everyone will be doing 25% bonus damage once you have it fully stacked. Not only that, because you've applied the damage reduction to the opponent, it doesn't matter if they're attacking you or someone else, they will also be taking less damage. Now, normally I do a big sort of conclusion and say what I think. I'm saving that for a more sort of what I did when designing this class video, so you're not going to get that here. What I will say is that I think this class is now vital on any boss team, because this thing will survive. I have soloed all 13 Chaos Lords with it, and this thing just survives. It stays alive and it can do it on its own, but in a team, it's reducing the amount of damage the boss is doing to everyone, and it's increasing the amount of damage that everyone else is doing to this boss. So I think Legion Doomknight is now a vital part of any bossing team, and if you're soloing enemies by yourself, I think this is just a really solid go-to class. So hope you guys like this class. I hope Dage is proud. So thanks for your time, and I'll do more videos soon. Until then, bye.